Hey everyone, it's Justin Staub here to help your chapter become the next DECA GOAT chapter. That's right, this series of videos is all designed for advisors to help make their chapter best. This specific video is to go through how I choose chapter leadership positions. I usually run this leadership survey on or about ICDC and have the results ready to go by the time ICDC finishes so that by May I have a leadership team ready for the next competitive DECA season. So let's take a look at all of these components. Now, everything I'm about to show you comes from information I got from a new teacher academy at ICDC in 2016. All that being said, it all is really backmapped from Emerging Leaders document and series, probably an Elevate series file, and you can get all of this online, but I want to show you that this is really where all of my information came from. It takes you through establishing your leadership positions, a little bit about mission and vision statements, and really how your organizational structure should look within your organization. Depending on how big your organization is, you might only have a president, you're the CEO, you might only have a president, and then your VP level positions. I pick and choose some of these director level positions to then also round out my team, just to give more students the opportunity to have leadership positions. But full disclosure, a lot of this comes from DECA, and then the rest of this document, I'll link this down below, but the rest of this document really helps you set up your organization structure and your leadership team to help make your chapter very successful. One of the most important tips I learned at that new teacher academy at ICDC is I don't hold elections for my officer positions. I hold an application process. I want the most capable students running for and getting offices, not the most popular. So what you're going to see next is my application process for my leadership positions. And at the top is just the instructions, but I want to show you this document that I link, which goes through the expectations and a little brief description of each of those positions. And as I had just mentioned, I'm the CEO, and then each one of these positions has a short description, and you can see that I picked some director positions to fill in underneath each. This is just, again, back map from that DECA document that I just showed you, and I encourage you to do this with your chapter or thinking through this with your chapter before you start offering positions. The first part of the survey is, well, first off, there's a, did you actually read that document? I know that clicking there doesn't mean that they did, but it at least acknowledges that they should have. The first part of this application is stuff that stays completely anonymous when I go through the surveys. The name, the student email address, the year that they graduate from high school. I need to know all that information, but as you'll see, that remains anonymous. Part 2 of the survey takes students through the DECA Leadership Style Survey, something else I learned at ICDC at that new teacher academy. This survey is 68 questions and really helps students understand their specific strengths and how that might tie to their leadership positions. I'll show you this in a second, but the most tricky part of this is the students are going to get a numeric score for each one of these 4 characteristics, and it's going to rank them in the order from highest to lowest for that particular student. So the students have to remember that the numeric score has to match the category on the survey, and it might be out of order on their survey when they go to do that. So let's take a look at that survey. In the survey, it asks you to go through 6 different pages of questions, 68 in total. And those 68 total questions help you identify whether you are a driver, energizer, analyzer, or caretaker. And all those things correspond to some ideas or some differences for your clubs. As an advisor, I like to have a mix of leadership styles within the club. I'm not looking for anything in particular for each position, but a mix of leadership styles helps ensure that our club has different types of people, different types of leaders to help our club succeed. Part 3 of the leadership survey that I have the students complete is their desired positions or their interested positions for the upcoming DECA year. I always have them do the executive positions first. Their executive positions are the president and vice president positions. If your club is small, that might be all that you have. Outside of that, then, and I have them pick their first choice, second choice, and third choice, and we'll see why in a minute. I also have them pick director positions, first choice, second choice, and third choice, and I have quite a few, so I have to scroll kind of to the left and to the right to see that. But some students choose only to pick director positions, or some students choose only to pick executive positions. That's fine. But I want to show you, I want to give the students options, and I want to be able to put students into the best place I think would help them fit and lead our club. The last thing that the students do is they complete an essay. And this essay is really open-ended. How would you, or why would you be a good officer for my club STEM DECA? I asked them to consider their leadership strengths and experiences, and also ways that they think they could improve DECA. The content of their answer is certainly most important, but I also look at the grammar and syntax of their answer. This is sort of like their, if you will, their campaign speech. You could have them record this, you could have them present this, you could have them speak in front of a club, but I have it all written out just so it's a little bit easier for me to evaluate. So that's the survey. Let's take a look at how I look at the results and what I do with them on that end. In years past, I've used that Google Sheets document to try to evaluate student survey results. And it's okay if you have a small number of students, it's okay to kind of manage those things around. I have found that I'd much prefer to put them into a mail merged Word document and look at them that way. It's a bit more tactile. It feels like looking at a resume to me, and it makes it a little bit easier for me to evaluate. So there is a little bit of a mail merge on the back end of this that I set up in advance, but the only personal information on that form is a timestamp, and I use that so I can then match it up to the original response in the form. But after I do my mail merge, then I've got the 4 characteristics from that DECA style survey. I have the executive positions the students are interested in. I have the director positions they're interested in, and then I have their essay response. And as you can see, this essay is really well thought out. But I wanted to walk you through what I do with the information in the survey, and this also goes to help my students along a little bit so they know exactly how I'm going to use it. I begin evaluating positions for the club by the executive positions first. And I look at everyone's first choice. I sort all these papers into their first choice positions. And then I look at the positions that are most important to my club. That one being the chapter president, and then the other executive office positions next. And I read all those students who are interested in being chapter president. I read their essay, and I also look at their responses for the DECA style survey. And I try to find the person who is best served to serve our club as president for that upcoming year. There's not anything necessarily that I'm looking for in a president, but from their written response and from their style survey, I try to find what I think is the best person on paper. Now, again, I don't know who they are. I don't have their names, so what I'm really doing is looking to see the best quality individual I can. After I figure out who the chapter president is, then I take all those, let's say 3 people apply for chapter president. I take the second and third person who didn't get chapter president, and I sort them into their executive position for their second choice. And I go through each executive position, and anytime I eliminate people, I try to sort them into their next choice. And in reading some, I'll recognize that, oh, that person's probably not a great fit to be an officer, and I just put those aside. In some cases, I know that that person might be a really great fit somewhere. I'm not sure where, and I put those on a different pile. So as I go through, I like to be able to sort the applications and find out who the best fits are. I do the same thing with director positions. Same sort of way. I read one at a time, one set at a time. I try to find the best fits, and then I work through there. And there's really no magic to this. When I'm done, what I try to do is I look at the DECA style survey results and see if I have a good mix of individuals, good energizers, good drivers, good analyzers, good caretakers for the club. And if I have a good mix and I feel pretty good, then I finally go back to that Google Sheets survey and I look to see who I've picked. And really that review is as interesting for me as I'm sure getting the results for the students are too. Thanks for watching this Advisor Series video. My name is Justin Staub. Best of luck in the upcoming DECA competitive season, helping your students become the next DECA GOAT.